verdure farcite al forno. Italians love their vegetables and they love stuffing them. And any vegetables will do. Whatever it's in season, whatever you have, more or less, you follow this recipe. So here we begin with eggplant. And I want to make 2 vessels for the stuffing itself. This is a regular measuring spoon, 1 teaspoon, and I'm going to fish out the meaty part, kind of create a little container, if you will. The inside of the eggplant, I'm just going to chop it up and add it to the stuffing. Then go to the peppers. The peppers are easy. They're like a little boat. Just kind of cut that out, and you leave the stem. Could be nice. It sort of seals it, and it makes it look like a little vessel, if you will. And we'll do the zucchini, but let's cut it this way so I get a better visual of the containers. 1, 2, I think like this. Okay, and you don't have to dig too deep because, you know, the vegetables, when they cook, they sort of mellow out. This is plenty. Let's clean the onions like that. That will be a vessel. And dig this out. And I'm looking inside. There's a little hole in both of them, so I'm gonna kind of patch up that hole. Here I put a little piece right in there so it kind of closes the bottom. Okay, so here I have day-old bread, and I have soaked it. You can do it in a vegetable soup, or you can do it in a meat stock. But the idea is we need to kind of now get all the extra water out, and you kind of crumble. You crumble the bread. This is fun. You can bring your kids into doing this, and you know, it's really kind of the feel element in cooking. Okay, so here we are. We have all the bread done. Then continue with the stuffing. The eggplant, the little pieces of eggplant we're gonna utilize. That's it. Eggs. Eggs, of course, are always the binder of a stuffing. Just like that. Scallions, chopped scallions, the green part too. Some chopped thyme to give it this kind of herbal feel. Parsley, lots of parsley. Lots of grated cheese. And for a real kind of good flavor, cheesy flavor, provolone. And kind of shred it just like that. Okay, let's give it a good mix. And it's all vegetarian, so this is a great meal for your vegetarian friends. So let me kind of really get in there and make my stuffing. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt, not too much, just like that. Ground pepper. Okay. Now let me get the vegetables ready, and the vegetable salt, and a little bit of oil, just to kind of dress them. There we go. So the vegetables are ready. I have the stuffing ready. A baking pan like this with some parchment. And I always like to use parchment when I bake things because it doesn't stick to the pan and I don't have to clean as much. So we'll begin with the eggplant. And don't overstuff it, just like that. What my thought is here, that the vegetables that take longer to cook, I'm gonna put together on the same baking pan so that if I have to cook them a little longer, at least they're together. The onions, you know, the onions do take a while to bake. And as you notice, I go in lightly, I don't stuff them. Let me put them in the middle. The peppers. And again, get the kids involved in this. This is kind of fun. These peppers are so delicious. They're sweet. You know, the peppers is like roasted peppers. And imagine with a nice cheesy stuffing, you know, good stuff. Let's see, I have one more pepper. No, that's a zucchini. Okay, I'll put the zucchini, and the zucchini goes here. And another zucchini goes here. I'm just going to finish this stuffing up here, cover it with foil paper, put it in a hot 400-degree oven for about 20-25 minutes. You uncover it and cook it for another 30 minutes until it's nice and crisp. It also depends, on the size of your vegetables, how long they're gonna cook. And here we go with the cheese. Everybody, a little bit of cheese, just like that. Shredded provolone on top. When you do put the foil paper on top, make a tent. Do not let the foil paper touch the vegetables because they will stick to it. Okay, all set. Good to the last drop. Wash my hands, I'll tent them, put them in the oven, and I love serving them hot, if you will, right out of the oven. For a meal, it's great, but I love them also at room temperature. Why not? Cremona is a jewel city in Lombardy. Not very touristy, but it has a beautiful Duomo, a piazza. And if you walk through the tight streets of Cremona, and you kind of hear this violin voice floating in the air, and you kind of peek into a window, you most likely will see a liutaio, and that is a violin maker and fixer working on a violin or a viola. Beautiful setting, really, really artistic. But in this city also, there's an artistic food element in it, and that's the provolone. I got an opportunity to go visit the plant and took me through the whole process of the making of the provolone. So of course, this big vats of cow's milk, 100% cow's milk, brought to temperature, rennet is added, it coagulates, and so this kind of curds of cheese begins to form. Then they're shaped and into a square, big square kind of, and then cut into pieces. And once it's cut into pieces, with the addition of some hot water, it is kneaded into one big mass. Then they dip it in a salted solution so that it absorbs some of the salt and flavors, and then they hang it up to dry, covering it with a light coating of wax, so that keeps the moisture in the cheese and keeps the cheese very flaky. A long process, but a delicious result. The stuffed vegetables are done, but just let me test them a little bit. The eggplant, which is the big one, nice and soft and tender, it's cooked. The onion, nice and tender. So I'm looking at this, and I think I'm gonna follow the plate, maybe make a frame out of the most colorful ones, and then the center, I will stuff with the most plentiful ones. So, the zucchini right here. So this is the time for you to be the artiste, the creative, So now I have these beautiful, colorful ones. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna just put them in the corners. How do you like that? And eggplant. Let's put it here. Should we put, yes, an onion between the eggplant? That looks nice. Another eggplant right here. That looks great. Let's start on that side. An eggplant, an onion, another eggplant, another onion right here. Maybe an eggplant for Lidia. That sounds good. You know what I'm gonna do? I want to taste an onion too, so I'm gonna swap. An onion for Lidia and an eggplant here. And again, hot on the table as an appetizer or just at room temperature. And even if you have a great buffet, these are great for the buffet table. So let me taste. Let's start with the eggplant. Piece of eggplant. Soft, tender, sweet, and it's really mellow and delightful. Let's try the peperone ripieno. There's an old Italian proverb, cucina piccola fa la casa grande. A small kitchen can make a house really big. Even in a small kitchen, you can prepare grand things to feed your family and friends. So, I'm gonna finish this plate, but certainly there's enough for all of us. And I wanna invite you, tutti a tavola a mangiare. Andiamo!
To learn more about Lydia, access to videos, and to get recipes, tips, techniques, and much more, visit us online at lydiasitaly.com.